and welcome to Vlogmas Day 9.
9, I wasn't sure, 9. Guess where we are going again?
To the movies, you're right.
We are going to watch the second part of Wicked again. We've seen it before. We weren't quite sure, and so we wanted to watch it again.
And because we are two theater kids who want to talk about Wicked with you, and we have a lot of opinion, but we need to watch it for a second time to really
Give it a
get
second
into
chance.
it. Yeah.
Also.
So for everyone who's here and who wants to chat with us about Wicked, if you don't want to see like the beginning, what we did today, you can go here. I will put a timestamp where we start talking about Wicked. But otherwise, just get yourself a blanket, get yourself a hot drink, and enjoy this vlogmas with us and talk about Wicked. Let's go.
She's ready.
Look at the gorgeousness. Someone's getting really excited that the days become 1 digit. Only 1 digit until Christmas. Oh my god, both has to go. Oh!
Last Christmas came up the very next day.
You gave it away.
Save me from tears. I gave it to someone special.
Special. Me, I guess I was sure to cry on.
You promised me treats, and here they are.
Everyone's happy. Here's our treat. We had a little bit of a struggle with our banana bread because we love when it is really gooey inside. But today it was really, really gooey.
And I don't really know why.
Maybe because of the pulp.
Yeah, but I used to do that, and
because maybe it's always different and you were like, I'm going with the flow. And so the flow can differ.
yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
Oh, it's
but
fine. We put it back in the oven.
yeah, we put it back in the oven. And now we're really excited. But Sarah's excited for something else. Wait.
My Advent gift. I already know what's inside. I got a feeling when I was in the shower.
Yeah, she came into the living room after the shower and she was like, I just had a vision what it could be. And I think I'm right. I'm like, yeah, probably.
Well, maybe not. But I think so. Well, it could.
Okay, now you have to say what you think before you open it.
Yeah, of course. So I think it's the Centella serum.
Look at your eyes. Is it? You have to open to see.
I think it is. Yes!
Of course she knew. Oh my god,
I love this one.
One of our favorite serums that we that we acquired from Korea.
Cookie.
Ta-da! Oh, yeah, wait, focus. Yes, but we will talk about some of our favorite products at another time.
I knew it! Oh. What is this?
Okay, banana bread taste test. Cheers. Okay, can you film yourself as well?
It's nice, but I don't really taste the gingerbread spices.
No, that's true.
Huh?
Where are they? In the middle, I tasted it way more.
Weird.
I think maybe it will depend on the bite, but it's as gooey and lovely as always. You can't see her, but there's Glinda in a bubble. Time for the coconut water.
I feel dizzy.
For everyone who has stayed for the whole vlog and watched everything that came before and is now thinking, does it look like another day? You gotta stay. It is another day. It's not the next day. It's several days later. It was chaos. After we went watching Wicked, wow, that sounds funny. It was utter chaos. Now, we want to talk about Wicked. We watched it for the second time. Now this the second movie. We will be spoilery here, just for you to know. We will talk about shit. So you gotta know when you listen to this, okay? I don't want to talk around it. So maybe a little backstory. We both knew Wicked before.
Yes.
We are little theater kids. And we have seen Wicked multiple times. Several times during our lifetime. And we were excited to watch Wicked in general. And then the first movie really hit us, I would say.
I was sitting in this movie theater like a little child. Like smiling from left to right. Literally teary-eyed. Watching it. Like, I don't know, it really touched me.
Yeah. And so naturally, we were very, very excited, as so many other people, for the second part. And I have to say, I don't know how you feel about the second act of the musical, because I feel like my biggest expectations for the second movie was that it has more time, like that it has so much more to expand. And I feel like they really did that in the first movie, that they expanded certain things that I really loved. The expansion of the world and the characters, I really liked it in the first movie. And there was such a huge expectations for me, which I realized after watching the second act, or the second film, that I really wished for them to use this time that they had, because the runtime of the film was so much longer than the runtime of the second act of the musical.
Instead of putting in new songs that are just not necessary. In my opinion.
Yeah, let's put a pin on the new songs. We can go into details as well. And so I feel like for a lot of different ways, but mostly for me, for this particular reason, when we watched the second film for the first time, we were a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
It was so sad because I just wanted to like jump back in and love it as much as the first movie, like how it swept us away. I wanted to have that same effect, and I wanted to feel emotional and be really into all of these moments. But when the moments came that for me were always kind of rushed and brushed through, all of these things that put together Wicked and The Wizard of Oz, which for me is so fun and it's so cool, they could have been expanded a little bit more, and it didn't really happen. I feel like they really went very straightforward with the story in the same way as the second act in the musical.
And me personally, I don't even think that the second act is too rushed.
For the stage.
Yeah, for the stage. I don't feel rushed. It is shorter, yes, but it's also the story, like the whole mood changes. So I don't mind it being a little bit shorter, and I love the musical, so
I love the musical as well, and I wouldn't say that the second act is worse than the first one. That's not it. I feel like I just wished for the musical to maybe have a little more space for certain situations, and so because I feel like the musical like this works very well, but therefore I really hope for the movie to use that time wisely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then I wonder if the musical Wicked is working as a movie For the first movie, I was like, yes, this is working. I love it. I love that they have more time to go into the stories of every single character. I really love that. But then you have so much time between watching the first movie and then the second movie, because you usually don't watch them all together, right? The first and the second. But with the musical, with the play, you only have a break of 20-25 minutes, so it really works. Like, the energy of the first act you still have in you while watching the second. And with the movie, that's not the case. How could it be the case? And that's why I'm wondering if it's not the best musical to make into a movie. Even though I really enjoyed it, these are just thoughts, you know?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a bad idea to split the movies into two, because originally I feel like the thought was to really expand on it, have more time and use that. It is a very complex story. It is tragic. It has so much layers to it. And that's why I was very hopeful after the first movie. But I see what Sarah says, that like waiting a year and then maybe not everyone is watching the first movie right before going into the second. So you kind of have a feeling of the first, but not really. It's not the same as if you were to watch it like straight first and then the second. But I also think it was just decisions for the second movie in itself.
What decisions?
Like, for example, putting in new songs, No Place Like Home and Girl in the Bubble, which kind of added something.
To me, it added nothing.
I don't think the same about No Place Like Home anymore. But Girl in the Bubble, yes.
Okay. Well, especially the second movie, they didn't do the show don't tell.
They did tell don't show. Tell and explain even more.
Tell and explain, even though they already showed everything. Also the flashback when Glinda was like a little child. To me, just not necessary. She already played, like, you could already see all of this. Like in the whole story.
Yeah. It seemed as if they really were adamant on having the same moment that Elphaba had in the first movie.
Yeah.
With her flashback, which was very necessary, which I feel like was really, it was perfect. The emotional impact that it had to watch the little Elphaba in the beginning, and also like how she was with Dulcibert, and already seeing like how her dad treats her and how the situation with the Munchkin kids is, all of this.
Absolutely
and then
necessary.
the end to Defying Gravity and seeing herself as the little girl. That added so much. It was perfect. But I feel the same. It was just like, oh yeah, we need an emotional moment with little Glinda as well. But
we already knew, right?
Yeah.
We already knew what they showed us in this flashback.
Yeah.
There was nothing new added.
I didn't feel any more sympathy or emotionally impacted for Glinda just because of this flashback. Yeah, there's a void inside of her and she wants to fill it and fill it and fill it, but we see that.
Yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah. It also ties in with Girl in the Bubble. I feel like the moment it comes in the musical, it takes so much out of the story. You're in it, you know? Elphaba has just decided no good deed has happened. She has just decided, yeah, fuck that shit, I'm the Wicked Witch. You want me bad? I'm going to be crazy now. Getting the shoes of my sister back. I'm kidnapping a child. I'm out of here, you know? And the people are like, yeah, we're going to get her. The witch hunt is on, you know? It's like, dun, dun, dun. You have to drive. You drive it forward. And then it's Glinda like, Girl in the Bubble for 3 minutes. I mean, the coolest part was the mirror thing.
But they did it 3 times.
Did not add anything for her story or for the song in itself. It's also like, it's just like, we know she has played it all. We know what she's going through, but they have to drag it out so she can have a song. But I have to say, the first time I heard No Place Like Home, I felt similarly. But now when I watched it for the second time and I've listened to it a little more, wait, I have to explain. I also had very high expectations for Cynthia's song because I was rooting, do you see it? I was rooting for her to have a chance on getting best song at the Oscars. So she can have an EGOT. She is an EGOT? I don't know how you say it, but you know what I mean. And I'm just not convinced that any of them will earn an Oscar for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, because they rarely give this to musical films. you know?
Understandably so.
Yeah, so. But for best song, I was like, if that song slaps, she bagged it. That's it. I like the song, but it didn't hit the sweet spot, and I don't feel like it has the same impact as other songs in the original score of Wicked. So therefore I was like, oh, I kind of love the message, like the thinking behind the song, but it just, for me, it did not really hit the sweet spot right away. And I also thought, was it really necessary? Maybe not. But the only thing, one of the main things about the second movie, which I really, really, really love, and where there would have never been enough time or never have been enough space for the musical to do the same, was the arc of the animals. And Elphaba and the animals, and her fight for the animals, for the oppressed beings in Oz. Because yes, it is one of the main arcs of Wicked, but I feel like in the musical there's just not enough time to really showcase that, and you cannot have multiple animals on stage or people playing animals. Yeah. So in the musical you have Dr. Dillamond as this one big example, and maybe Chistory and some others here and there, but it's more talked about, but you never really see what she actually does and how she interacts with them and how she really wants to fight for them and with them. And therefore, when I rewatched this part with No Place Like Home, I did appreciate it a little bit more, because it gave more with the animals. And I liked the moment when Dulce Bear is there in the beginning. I know. The first time I was like, Dulce Bear!
Yes, but that's not the song. And that's what I mean. The scene, yes, the scene should be there. But was it necessary to then add a song in there? I don't think so. Yeah. I think 2 sentences could have done the same effect.
I know.
And also the scene and everything. No, that, like, I'm not saying anything against that part, but I just don't feel, especially when you then see how they rush through everything else, when it comes to Fiyero, Bok. They rush through those things.
Yeah, that's what I also feel like, where I was really disappointed. That I really hope for the characters like Nessa, Bok, Fiyero, that you see even more of their character arcs, and you can even more understand where they come from, what happened, because there is such a big time jump. I talked to so many people who watched the second part, who also did not know Wicked before, so they wanted to be surprised by everything that happened, and that made it even worse, I feel like, because for them it got so random at times what happened to these characters, because in the beginning they wouldn't even realize that 4 years had passed, or that time had passed to begin with.
But you can tell in the movie. I mean, there's only so much they can do.
If they gave them a little more chance to flesh out their stories, maybe that would have clocked even more. I don't know. I love Wicked so much, and I love what they did with the movie. I really
still love it. I still also, honestly, I still love the second part.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know now. It's so weird, because especially like around my co-workers and a lot of people, I was the girl who's waiting for Wicked Part 2 the most. You know, I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, the second part is coming out, and I was
between the 2 of us. Also.
Same, and I was like, you're not ready. You know, I was so hyped, and then I was the one. I'm kind of disappointed. Damn it, you know. But then I heard other people talk about the second part, and they were also not as impressed. But I feel like they weren't impressed by the wrong things.
Give me examples.
Like, the biggest example is I heard so many people, like in real life but also on the internet, talking about that they don't really understand, or they didn't really like how Wicked tied into The Wizard of Oz. And I'm like, it's the fucking point. Wicked is kind of a prequel, kind of the non-propaganda story of The Wizard of Oz. I remember when I watched Wicked for the first time as a musical, and I realized what was happening to Bog and what was happening to Fiyero, I was like, mind blown! I loved it! When you see that Madame Marble is using the tornado and then the house from Dorothy, and Dorothy comes into Oz, I was like, oh my god! That makes so much sense! That's so cool! It's so tragic, but it's so cool! And I heard so many people like, oh yeah, I didn't even need that. Why was she there? Why were they like this now? I'm like, what do you mean? That's the whole point. Like, what did... I did not understand that. It was like, oh yeah, I just wanted more about Elphaba and Glinda, but this is also part of it. I mean, when you see The Wizard of Oz, you see Glinda the Good and you see the Wicked Witch, but they're portrayed differently. And Wicked is a way to broaden these characters and to really see how they became what they became. Flip it around. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe we can say, what did we really like about Wicked, like both parts, and what we did not like, maybe 2 or 3 things that come to mind. In Wicked for Good, what I really loved...
She's ready. My God.
What I really loved was the animal arc, and that this got expanded, that you could really... I loved how you could see so many intricate things that give so much layer also to how we as a society work, how it is in reality with oppressed, marginalized groups, you know? And in this case, also with animals in real life, how they get treated. I really loved, for example, the first shot when you go into the movie and you see how they make the yellow brick road, and that it is made on enslaving the animals and making them work hard labor. And you can see how around the yellow brick road everything was like dirt and dying, and nature was dying all around it. I really loved that shot, and I really loved how they tied everything more into what they were doing to the animals and how they were scapegoated, and how Elphaba was scapegoated for fighting for them and wanting change. In general, I'm so happy. I saw one interview of John M. Chu when he talked about the audition process, and when Cynthia was in the audition room, and when he was like, I don't know where she came from, but more people need to know about her. Because everyone, when Wicked came out, not everyone, but a lot of people who were not theater kids and did not know Cynthia before, everyone was like, oh, let's see what's Ariana doing, and let's see who's the other one. And I was like, you have no idea. Yeah. You have no idea. And I'm so happy.
Because people in the musical realm know her.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone was excited for her. And I was also so excited to see her in this role, but to also see her shine, because I knew she was going to be brilliant. She always exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
My God. But also how she interprets, how she sings, like the whole, like how she acts while she sings. I feel like I got so much more insight into Elphaba, into the character, and I understood the story even more since I watched her being Elphaba. Yeah. And her being a black woman and bringing so much to the role as well. It was...
I kind of feel like Elphaba should only be played by a black woman.
What she said.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the future.
Yes. And obviously it will not be like that, but it opens many more doors now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, it already did, because the first black woman on Broadway started just shortly after the first movie came out. There was never a black woman playing Elphaba.
It makes no sense.
I'm not sure if ever like the lead role or if there was an understudy, but I think I heard there never was a black woman.
That's no shock to me.
Before.
But
and I think she's Ethiopian.
Oh, nice!
Or maybe Eritrean, but yeah.
Nice.
It's a win. It's a win for the black girls! Cynthia is a star.
She's incredible.
She's incredible, and everything she brought for this movie, for this role, eye-opening. Incredible. So all her songs, I'm just like, I bow down every time.
And it's just such a pleasure to listen to her voice.
Yeah.
It just is. Also to watch her, to watch her act. The animals, Cynthia, what else do I love? The colors. Actually the colors, the costumes.
Yes.
Like the whole ensemble.
And how
when you see everyone being a part of this whole musical, of this whole movie, like I love watching like the little characters.
Yeah. I feel like Wicked is one of those musicals where it must be so fun to be in the ensemble.
Oh my god, so
It
much
must
fun.
be, oh my god, it must be incredible.
And the way they did it in the movie, oh, it was so much fun to watch.
And the physical props, like so much of the world was real.
Yeah.
Incredible. Costume, the props, the whole sets, everything they put into this, wow.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Just so much fun to watch.
Many of the songs that I was excited for really exceeded my expectations. Yeah. Obviously, songs like Defying Gravity and No Good Deed from Elphaba or Cynthia. But I also loved how Ariana did Thank Goodness. I loved For Good. I was really looking forward to For Good. And this whole this whole moment, also one of my highlights. For Good, and then the door scene. And them saying I love you to each other. Stop. When we watched it the first time, I was like, this was not in the script. This was not in the script. I just knew it was not in the script. They would have never scripted it that way. But they did it in rehearsal. They improvised it once, and then they were like, yes, we have to stick with that. And they fought for this to be in the movie, and I'm so happy they did. I'm so happy. I love that. That was top notch. I love that. And how their voices go together, how they meld together.
Their voices really fit together. That's true. Now, what didn't you like?
Yeah, some specific things that I didn't really like. For example, these will be random because I think I could talk about so many intricate things that I loved and so many intricate things I did not like, or the decisions I did not like. So these are just random things that just now pop into my head. At the end, when it is finally revealed that the wizard is Elphaba's dad, this was the biggest tell, don't show of all time. Because why? You see the flask. You see how Glinda goes to the wizard after you have seen him drink out of it multiple times, you know? We've had this moment, we had this moment. And then Glinda says it to him. You know, she talks about it, so I have this from Elphaba. This belonged to her mother. Her mother? No. And then he looks so distraught and you're like, yeah, I get it. I understand. And then they go back to the scene with the mother, only to have him, the dancer, who basically looks like Jeff Bloom in Young. Yeah. They could have just kept his face. Using the weirdest CGI of a young Jeff Goldblum face.
It looked so weird.
Is our media literacy so bad now that we really needed that? Like, what was that?
Probably. That's the reason why.
Like, really, people needed this moment to be like, he's the... No, please tell me you did know before. When it comes to the moments where Bok gets turned into the Tin Man and Fiyero gets turned into the Scarecrow, and they inevitably somehow meet up with Dorothy and they go to see the wizard and I just wish... I did not care for Dorothy. They do that in the musical as well, for everyone who might not know. You don't see her face, you don't see Dorothy. I really like that they kept that for the movie as well. But you do know who the Scarecrow is. You do know who the Tin Man is. We've seen them. We felt for them. We were annoyed by them. Bok, I'm looking at you. But you know, I wanted to see more of like what was going on now.
I think we have seen enough of Bok. But
I don't know. I just would have loved maybe seeing a little more interaction. I would have loved to know, did they know who they are? Yeah. You know, because they were friends at some point for a short time. Especially for the movie, they wanted to keep it more of a twist that Fiyero is the Scarecrow, but yeah, no. Why did he look like Ryan Reynolds?
Why?
And I saw that they had a really I feel like kind of practical mask and stuff. But I think in the end they couldn't use that or something. I have to look it up maybe. They CGI'd something in the end a little bit more and did not use the practical prop. Or something was up with that. But when you see how it looked when it was more practical, it looked way cooler. And it did not look like Ryan Reynolds. So I'm like, what happened? You were in the editing room? Why? Everyone saw that. Like, everyone on the internet was like, why is he looking like Ryan Reynolds? Okay, I guess. I mean, it is what it is. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you 2 questions. Because,
Me?
yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Because I've seen it talked about a lot from the point of view of theater kids who watched Wicked, the musical, are very fond of the material of Wicked. That there were certain moments in Wicked Part 2 where they did not do iconic transitions. 2 times. 2 times they did not do the iconic transitions that the musical had.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Firstly, when Glinda sings I'm Not That Girl reprise.
Yeah.
And usually after she's I'm not that girl, it goes directly dun 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 dun. It goes directly into
should have kept it.
As Long As You're Mine. You think also they should have kept that?
Yes. Yes, they should have shown the other stuff beforehand. So it's still in the movie and then still have the transition. Because I think it would have been weird to immediately jump into them making out.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I feel like, yeah, I understand what you mean. I think when we rewatched the second movie, I like that they tried to give Glinda a little bit more room to have this moment of devastation.
Yeah, but I love that it's usually kept together.
Yeah.
Because that actually shows how wrong this is. Like, what do you mean? Toxic.
I feel like I did not mind some transitions not being exactly the same, because in the musical it is kind of crazy sometimes. I realized that after watching the first movie, when you have scenes like The Wizard and I, and then they go about their day and you see them interacting with each other, and then slowly you go into popular. In the stage musical, she sings the last note of The Wizard and I, then she goes to stage left or stage right. Glinda comes up to the other side, and it's like, there's been some confusion. She doesn't get a breath.
And it works.
Does not stop. It works in the musical.
It would.
It makes sense. It's enough. And therefore, of course, there will be iconic moments when one thing goes into the other. And I don't necessarily think it needs to be the same in the film, but I still feel like some decisions for why they did not do it, that did not include it, but then have what they had, wasn't really more impactful at times. And the second transition that wasn't really there, which was kind of sad. I didn't realize in the beginning, I have to say. I did not even realize. Did you? I'm not sure. Did you? That when it's the Fiero before No Good Deed. Usually it's the moment they take him away and then Glinda screams Fiero. She does that in the movie as well. But then it turns into this transition where Elphaba is screaming Fiero as well, and then she goes to the Grimmery and she's like, Alukanamana, and then she's trying to save him. But this time you hear Glinda scream and then you see Elphaba fly to her.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So that was also sad.
I'm quite sad that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's so iconic.
It's so iconic. That's true. I didn't realize at the beginning, but when I realized,
together. Well, at least in the musical, it pulls it all together, and it's such a cool. I don't know. It's so cool.
It's so easily explainable that although she was already gone, she could already feel and tell that something was happening to Fiero. So I don't understand why they decided to have Glinda scream, but then they showed this whole section of Elphaba flying back to her area, but with the monkeys. I don't know why they showed this, and then her immediately going to chant the spell. Why didn't they have her be there already and then also seeing something and be like, Fiero, why? I don't understand that. That's really sad.
Well, they probably have their reasons.
Yeah.
They always do.
But sometimes they're stupid reasons.
We would have done everything so much better.
These are like 2 very iconic transitions in the musical, and especially the Fiero scream from Glinda to Elphaba. It's sad that they...
It gives you goosebumps, usually.
Yeah.
Should I say it?
What? Say it. Say it.
I wish they would have chosen someone else for Glinda. just like, I don't want to be associated with it anymore. I still love the movie with her, and I think Cynthia's and her chemistry is very great. I just don't think she has the voice for it, and of course she's an amazing singer. I'm not gonna say anything against that. Yeah, she's incredible, but she doesn't have the musical, like this musical voice that you need to play Glinda. Usually it doesn't really touch me when people sing so high in this opera voice. But when I watched Wicked, the musical, for the very first time, I got goosebumps all over my body. And I think that's just not the case with the same notes that are very, very up there, you know? And I think there are so many incredible people, but I also understand that they chose her because she is so famous. And she did everything well. Like,
yeah, but I also...
her voice is still incredible. The way she played the part, still incredible.
I think a lot of things worked in her favor, obviously. I don't think it was only her name and how famous she was beforehand, because that...
But there was also, like a huge part.
But it could have been why she wouldn't have gotten it in the beginning. She was almost cut out early because she was too famous and too much Ariana the pop
instead of Glinda,
idol. But then I feel like she really did put all of everything she had into this shot of trying to convince them that she's not just Ariana Grande. And I feel like how she portrays Glinda, I really, really like. It really suits the whole musical, and I feel like what also worked in her favor is how she and Cynthia work together.
Yeah, and they do work so well
and of course you can never know how it would have been with somebody else, and I'm not saying it would be stupid to say that only she could have done that, but I really think they made such a right decision with the two of them together. And I really love her Glinda, but vocally for the opera parts she did the best she could, and I really think she trained as hard as she could, but there are other people whose voice just suit better with this for Glinda.
Yeah. And it took me out sometimes. It took me out of the moment sometimes.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. I would love to watch a double feature. Because of the break, you know, what I said about the break being too long and the movies. So I really would love to watch a double feature.
And please, you have to understand.
Don't hate us.
No. Hate us, love us, whatever. Just like comment what you feel. I want to know. I want to interact.
Oh yeah.
You know. So yeah, if you're like, these girls are stupid, what are they talking about? True. Let us know. If you agree with us, also let us know. But also, please don't forget with the second movie, it is a continuous story. It's not another movie about the land of Oz and Glinda and Elphaba, which is basically the same as the first. Please don't compare the moods and everything. It is continuous. Yeah. Yes, the second movie doesn't work alone. The first movie works alone. Kind of. It can work on its own. The second movie relies onto the first one, but that's part of it. That is the story. We have talked for so long. Please let us know, what do you think about Wicked? Because I could talk about this for even longer, but we have to stop now.
I think we should stop now. Oh, see, the battery is also
saying, stop this, I cannot do this anymore. To all of our Wicked witches. We see you next time. We love you. Well, look who's sitting here outside of the door. Cannot get in because Sarah and I split after the cinema because she needed to go somewhere. And we did not think about that before leaving the flat. And when I arrived here, I realized that we only had one key with us and Sarah had that key. And now I'm sitting here. We even have a spare key with some friends who live close by, and I went there, but one of my friends wasn't home and he must have the key on his keychain. So that was great luck. So now I have to wait. Sarah will be here any minute. Why? Why is this happening? And also Pino is alone at home, and I wanted to take him outside as soon as I arrive, and it's just one of those days, you know? Great. My savior! So stupid. Why? My savior. I was like, how much bad luck can one have? Yeah, look, beforehand I sat here and I left. I left this when I went to check up on our friends, the neighbors. Oh, Pino. You don't even know what happened, but I'm so sorry.